Hey guys, I'm Daisho and I am here playing some Magic, and today I am doing round 3. And sorry guys, but halfway through game 1 of round 3, my opponent, or not my opponent, but one of my friends was looking over at the camera and's like, is this supposed to be on? And I'm just like, yeah, it is. So unfortunately I don't get to show you game 1, but it was really quick. It was kind of like a super speedy beatdown. My opponent won the die roll, but from what he had heard about my deck, he thought it was more like grindy, and generally it is more grindy. But in this scenario, against him in the first game, it really was not grindy at all, and I basically just beat his face off in like 4 turns before he was able to do anything. So I won game 1, and now we are into game 2. So my opponent leads off by playing a Street Spasm on turn 3 to kill my Cackler, and then he plays a Lava Crew, and I'm stuck on red mana, so it's not looking great for me. He's getting set up, and all he really wants to do is get into the late game, and then he'll be at a much greater advantage. I keep swinging in, and he keeps blocking, but I mean, that's what he's supposed to do, and that's what I'm supposed to do. My creature has Unleash. It's not going to be blocking anything ever, so may as well just do the stupid thing and just attack every turn, especially since I have regen mana up, so even if he has something crazy to kill it. But I am just going to keep attacking, and if I ever have anything, then he's going to be sad. So I hit a 4th land, and then I end up playing a Perilous Shadow, which is good. It's pretty much the ideal thing I can have here, something that can swing in on the board, and even if I still don't draw any red mana, then I can keep playing this thing and then just be very, very happy. So he slams a Pyro Convergence down now, and that's not good for me. He's at 6 lands because he played the Guildgate this turn tapped and a Pyro Convergence, and I'm still off my red mana, but I did just draw a mountain, so that's pretty good for me. I'm going to end up swinging with my Roustabout and my Perilous Shadow, and I'm just going to pump my Shadow once so that I can get in for 2. So there's really 2 ways to play with the Shadow. You can either just go all in on the Shadow and just say, okay, I'm going to risk any consistency that I can get with, or like any tempo that I can get by playing creatures, and I'm just going to try to get in as much damage as possible always. So always leave your mana up, and then always pump out for your Shadow. And if your opponent doesn't have too much pressure, then that's usually a pretty good strategy. But I tend to generally go the other way and just play my hand out as much as possible, and that makes Perilous Shadow not as good of a card for me as it is for somebody who's more willing to play the other way. But I play a Hellhole Flailer, or I played one last turn, he played an Ogre Jailbreaker, and I am going to make a really, really big swing right here. I'm going to launch party my my Grim Roustabout, which is pretty much useless if he's got an Ogre Jailbreaker anyway, at his Ogre Jailbreaker, and swing in with both my guys. So he's just going to block the Perilous Shadow because he doesn't want his Lava Crew to die, and I'm going to hit him for 4. So that means that I dealt 6 damage that turn, and he thinks for a while, so I just fast forward to when he plays a Key Rune, and now I'm up 16-10, and I think I'm at a huge advantage. But then he does this this tricky little play here by playing a Treasure Find with the Pyro Convergence, dealing 2 damage to my Hellhole Flailer, and then he's going to pick up a Street Spasm. He's also going to untap his Lava Crew in the process, and use the Street Spasm to end up killing my Hellhole Flailer. He had 4 damage, but he decided to not use it. He couldn't kill the Shadow because I did have the 2 mana up. Unfortunately, I didn't have the 4 mana up, which would have been really, really good for me to just sacrifice my Hellhole Flailer, but I decided to attack last turn instead. So that was unfortunate, but at least I did get 4 damage out of the Hellhole Flailer, so that's good. So he's counting my mana here, and he determines that he can't just take 6 damage and go down to 4. That would just put him too close to dead, so he actually needs to deal with the Perilous Shadow right now, and he's going to finally decide, or eventually he's going to end up blocking. And I also come to a similar conclusion about his Lava Crew, which is that I'd rather not play a spell this turn and kill his Lava Crew. So this is why I'm not a huge fan of Perilous Shadow. Sometimes it's really, really good, but occasionally it's just clunky, and it's a card that you have to put mana into every turn, which sometimes can be really, really useful, but I have a lot of things that I want to be doing with my mana. I mean, at the beginning of the game I was just getting screwed on lands, and now that I'm not, I have just spells to play till the end of the game basically, and I'm almost never gonna run out of spells. But anyway, I'm just gonna pump, and he's just gonna hit me for 1. So now the life totals are 14-10. We both have basically the same creature out because he can just block my Perilous Shadow with his Golgari Keyrune, and nothing will change. They'll just trade. But he's also got a Pyro Convergence. Then again, I do have more cards in hand, so that puts me at some sort of advantage, but he's definitely doing pretty well right now. So he's going to tap 2 and eventually play a Goblin Electromancer, dealing 2 to me with the Pyro Convergence, and then he's going to play, I believe, a Karazda Guildmage. Could be wrong. Nope, yeah, he's going to play that Karazda Guildmage and deal another 2 to me. So now I'm down to 10, and I'm just like getting a little scared. But I do think that this was a point in the game where I asked him how many cards in hand he had, and he had 1. So all I really needed to do was just get him out of cards and then eventually slow the game down and win. So he's going to block with the Electromancer. Again, he doesn't want to take 6 going down to 4, and he doesn't want to lose any of his other creatures. He can't activate his Keyrune, so he also doesn't have black mana, so he can't, or green mana, other than the Keyrune, so he wouldn't be able to sacrifice his Electromancer either way. So I'm just going to play Golgari Longlegs after pumping 1. He's just going to pass the turn back, but now he's got a bunch of mana. I drew an Augur Spree there, which is really good for me. I think I have a Lava Crew in hand, and I kind of want to save the Augur Spree, but I don't feel like waiting. So what's going to happen here is I swing in. He gets priority before the Declare Blockers step, and then he's going to use that priority to activate his Keyrune, and then I'm going to gain priority again, because every time you pass into the next phase, you get the turn player gets priority, and then after the all of the spells resolve, then the turn player gets priority, and then the non-turn player gets priority. So I end up killing his Golgari Keyrune with my Augur Spree, because I didn't want it to trade for either my Golgari Longlegs or my stupid little Perilous Shadow. But he gets 2 blockers, and he is going to use them. I think he's going to chump block both of them. He might. Yeah, he's definitely going to chump block both of them here, because I've got the Longlegs and the Perilous Shadow, so he needs to do something if he wants to survive here. So, or, I mean, he wouldn't die from this attack no matter what. Unless he didn't block and didn't activate his Keyrune or something stupid like that, then I would have been able to just swing it for lethal. But either way, I mean, the Guildmage is fine, and like it's okay with a ton of mana, but all it's really doing for him this game is stalling. I mean, he can't really afford to attack, and even so, his creatures, I guess they get Intimidate, so they wouldn't. My Longlegs would be able to block, but my red creatures wouldn't, and my black creatures wouldn't. But it, like, especially in a multicolored deck like he's playing 5 colors. If you haven't noticed that, I think I was when I actually thought of making this commentary, I was like gonna lead with that and talk about it for a while, but then I just completely forgot to talk about the fact that my opponent is playing a 5-colored deck. He got a Pyro Convergence and a bunch of Goblin Electromancers and some other pretty good cards, and he decided to just go for it. He got a bunch of fixing too. I think it was like 3rd and 4th pick. He told me after the draft that he had gotten just a couple of Guild Gates, and for some reason, when he sees Guild Gates, he just can't do anything but go for 4 colors. So he plays an Electromancer here, taking me down to 8, because there's nothing really on board that he can hit. And, I mean, the game will end eventually right now, because I do have the Lava Crew. So I decided to swing in with 2 of my guys, my Golgari Longlegs and my Perilous Shadow. That's pretty obvious, but I mean, he's just got to like block and chump block and stuff. So I think he's going to chump block with the Electromancer, chump block with a token. I'm going to pump to kill it, and then he's just going to sacrifice the Goblin Electromancer with his Guildmage. So unlike the V2 Ghazi Guildmage, which is the Selesnya one, the Karazda Guildmage doesn't really win you the game, and it can't really stabilize you. Like, I mean, sure, he's blocking a bunch and not dying, but he's not killing me either. And as long as I just keep playing spells, then I'm gonna be fine eventually. So I'm just gonna pump the Perilous Shadow once, and then he's just gonna sacrifice his Electromancer, and he's gonna end up with 2 tokens at the end of this altercation. That token did die, but he got 2 from the Goblin Electromancer. So if you are perceptive enough, then you can see the cards in my hand. I've got a Cobble Brute, I've got a Dynacharge, and I've got an Electrickery. So basically, the goal here is next turn, play both of them, Electrickery and Dynacharge, and then just basically swing in for the game because he can't block with his tokens. But he inaction injunctions my Golgari Longlegs, draws a card, and That's also a good card, so that's pretty annoying for me that he got both of them. But he ends up swinging in here, and I don't really know why he's attacking, but I feel like I need to play around something because the attack doesn't make enough sense to me. So I decided to just block with my guys because I feel like even if he pumps and trades, okay, I'm just lying right now. He swings in, and then I block with my Cobble Brute. I just completely forgot about the Guild Mage's first ability. So I just end up blocking and like an idiot or whatever, and then he just pumps. So then I am forced to use my like trickery and response to kill his sapling that blocked me, and that's just annoying. But it does mean that I have my Cobble Brute still alive, and that I'm in pretty good position to swing back and not have him be a happy camper, basically. So yeah, I mean he's just debating right now, but. So yeah, so this game is actually, I think it's a really, really good game. I mean, a lot of it is just stalling by one of us, but I mean, it took me a while to get started, and then once I did, I started gaining the advantage, and then, I mean, he's sort of gained it back by dealing a whole bunch of damage to me with his gold spells and his Pyre Convergence, and I mean, luckily for me, a lot of my guys are big enough, and this is really where I want to be. Like, the first game was fine for me where I was a lot faster than him, but this game is also really just fine because I have Golgari Longlegs, and I have Perilous Shadow, and I have Cobble Brutes and stuff like that. I have just big creatures that can easily take over a game. But unfortunately for me, he drew another Goblin Electromancer, so he's still going to be able to kill my Cobble Brute and also make another blocker. But what is good for me, though, is I'm going to be able to Lava Crew him, and I'm going to be able to attack, and he doesn't really have good blocks. He can't sacrifice, so that's good for me. I drew a Tenement Crasher, and I still have got that Dynacharge. I played the Electrickery last turn. That's annoying. I can't like wipe out his blockers before declare blocker step or something like that, which would have been pretty sweet. But either way, it is looking pretty good for me. I'm just going to tap 6 mana, and I still can't swing it with that Longlegs because it was detained last turn from the Inaction Injunction. I know it was a while ago, but it was really just last turn. And I just swing in with my Tenement Crasher and my Perilous Shadow, which he thought was really weird because I just have a red mana up, so I can't even pump my Perilous Shadow. So it's not really swinging in for any damage. So this was just a really confusing attack for him. A little bit after the attack, he feels that he should have blocked with the Electromancer and the Guild Mage on the Perilous Shadow. But I mean, I had the Dynacharge in hand anyway, so yeah. But either way, that attack from him last turn, while it may have confused me, it was pretty bad because now he can't really do anything. He can't attack. He can't block and sacrifice because he had to pump to try to kill my Cobble Brute last turn, and he can't just block with a Sapperling token. So he basically either has to take 5 or chump his Electromancer and then probably lose the game the next turn, barring some crazy bomb that he draws. I don't even think that there's anything in his deck that would be able to save him from all 3 of my creatures, and plus my Lava Crew doing slow incremental damage. And then plus the fact that I had a Dynacharge in hand, I really don't think that there's a way. But here's where Dynacharge, in my opinion, is so much better than either Trumpet Blast or maybe even Rally the Peasants. I don't know. It might just be better than that card. It's because I only have 1 mana up, but it's still not a dead card because I can use it. So he's thinking about chump blocking, but in the end he doesn't. He doesn't block, and he just takes it. And he's like, I'll take 5. And then I'm thinking about it, and I decide to Dynacharge and get in for 7. That way, he goes down to 2. I can Lava Crew him at end step, and then at my next turn, I'm going to win. Unless he either A, finds a way to kill me, or B, finds a way to gain life. And, I mean, that's just unlikely. I mean, there's almost no life gain in the format. But he's thinking that he should have double blocked. That's all he was saying right there. And he just draws his card, and I think it's just a land. So I'm going to be able to get this game. So that was really fun. I managed to go 2-1 in this draft, and I think my deck was pretty good. Originally, I didn't like it, but it had a ton of removal, it had a ton of late game, and it also had the possibility of just getting a really quick early game beats awesome game time happy days. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this game. I'm just gonna Lava Crew him here, untap, Lava Crew him again, and then he's gonna be all like, I've got a dramatic rescue, but he didn't have anything. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a wonderful day. Bye.